The future is probabilistic. Why India's uncertain markets need certain minds. Executive summary. In the last 2 decades, the Indian dream was built on deterministic code. Learning Java or Python was a guaranteed ticket to the middle class. But as we stand in 2025, that ticket is losing its validity. The IT services sector, long the engine of Indian employment, is facing a triple threat: saturation, automation by generative AI, and a global slowdown in discretionary tech spending. However, amidst this volatility, a parallel economy is booming, one that thrives not on writing code, but on managing uncertainty. This is the economy of probability. For students and professionals, shifting focus from how to code to how to measure risk is no longer just an academic choice. It is a strategic career pivot. The new high-growth fields, data science, actuarial science, quantitative finance, reliability engineering, and operations research do not just use probability, they are defined by it. These fields offer what the IT sector currently cannot: anti-fragility. As the world becomes more volatile, climate risks, market crashes, supply chain disruptions, the value of professionals who can mathematically model that volatility increases. This video explores 5 such green fields in the Indian context, backed by 2025 market data, demonstrating why a background in probability is the ultimate career safety net. To be continued. Data science and AI, the anti-hallucination squad. The shift from building models to trusting models. For years, data science was synonymous with predicting the future. Today, it is about trusting the machine. With the explosion of generative AI, LLMs like GPT-4, the industry has hit a wall. Hallucinations. AI models, which are fundamentally probabilistic engines, sometimes confidently state falsehoods. A standard coder cannot fix this because it is not a bug in the code. It is a feature of the probability distribution. This has created a massive demand for professionals who understand the times behind the model, not just the API. The probability role. Modern AI roles now demand human-in-the-loop, HITL. Evaluators and research scientists who use Bayesian inference and uncertainty quantification to tame AI. If a medical AI gives a diagnosis, it must also give a confidence score. For example, I am 85% sure. Calculating that 85% correctly is a pure probability problem. Career signal. While entry-level coding salaries stagnate, salaries for machine learning engineers with strong statistical backgrounds have risen by 20-30% year on year, creating a clear bifurcation in the market. 2. Actuarial science. The billion-rupee signature. The shift. From life insurance to cyber and climate risk, actuarial science is often called the safest profession in the world. And in India, it is currently facing a supply crisis. An actuary is a financial architect who uses probability to ensure that an insurance company doesn't go bankrupt when disaster strikes. The probability role. Actuaries use mortality tables and stochastic modeling to price risk, but the field has expanded beyond life insurance. Today, Indian actuaries are pricing cyber insurance. What is the probability of a data breach at Infosys? And climate risk. What is the probability of flood damage in Chennai next year? Indian market context, 2025. Talent crunch. India has a severe shortage. There are fewer than 1,000 fully qualified fellow actuaries in the country against a target demand of 4,500 by 2025 and 25,000 by 2030, set by the IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. Regulatory boost. The adoption of Ind AS 117, a new accounting standard, has forced every insurance company to overhaul its risk models, creating immediate, high-paying demand for actuarial talent. Salary. A newly qualified fellow can command salaries upwards of 30 to 40 lakhs per annum, with senior partners earning multiples of that. It is a protected career. You cannot be undercut by a cheaper freelancer because the law requires an actuary's signature. 3. Financial management. The rise of the Indian quant. The shift. From gut feeling to algorithmic certainty. The days of the stockbroker shouting on the floor are over. The modern Indian financial market is run by quants, quantitative analysts, who use advanced probability to find patterns in noise. The probability role. Quants use stochastic calculus, the math of random motion, To model stock prices, they build high-frequency trading, HFT, algorithms that execute thousands of trades per second based on probabilistic triggers. They also manage risk using value at risk, VAR models, calculating the maximum loss a bank might face with 99% confidence. Indian market context, 2025. Algo dominance. As of 2025, over 57% of equity cash trades and 70% of derivatives trades in India are executed by algorithm. Market growth. The Indian algorithmic trading market is projected to grow from $562 million in 2024 to $1.2 billion by 2033. Compensation. This is arguably the highest paying field for a math graduate. Top proprietary trading firms in India, like Tower Research or Graviton, are paying interns. Yes, intern stipends as high as 1.2 lakhs per month. The barrier to entry is high, often requiring mastery of probability puzzles, but the financial reward is unmatched. 4. Reliability engineering. The backbone of Make in India is the shift from software testing to silicon survival. India is currently in the midst of a manufacturing renaissance driven by the India Semiconductor Mission, ISM, a 76,000 crore initiative. Making a microchip is easy. Making a microchip that works for 10 years inside a hot car engine is incredibly hard. That is where reliability engineering comes in. The probability role. A reliability engineer asks, what is the probability this chip fails before 5 years? They use the Weibull distribution and bathtub curve models to predict failure rates. In the software world, this role translates to site reliability engineering, SRE, where engineers use probability to ensure apps like UPI, processing billions of transactions, have 99.999% uptime. Hardware. With Tata Electronics and Micron setting up massive semiconductor plants in Gujarat, there is a sudden, frantic search for engineers who understand mean time between failures, MTBF. These jobs didn't exist in India 5 years ago. Software. Site reliability engineer is consistently listed as a top emerging job. SREs command a 30-40% salary premium over standard engineers because their skill set, math plus coding, is rarer. Why it's stable. You can offshore do coding, but you cannot offshore the physical reliability testing of a factory line or the firefighting a payment gateway. 5. Operational science. The math behind 10-minute delivery. The shift from logistics to hyper-optimization. How does Blinkit or Zepto promise delivery in 10 minutes? It's not just fast drivers. It's operations research. OR is the science of decision-making under constraints, heavily relying on probability to model uncertain demand. The probability role. Or analysts use queuing theory to model checkout lines and Markov chains to predict inventory states. They solve the traveling salesman problem every minute of the day. They calculate, what is the probability that 50 people in Indiranagar will order milk at 7 a.m. and position the inventory before the orders are placed? Indian market context, 2025. The Q-commerce boom. India is the global laboratory for quick commerce. The sector is expanding rapidly, but profitability depends entirely on efficiency. A 1% reduction in delivery cost, achieved through better probabilistic routing, translates to crores in profit. Supply gap. There is an estimated 51% gap between the demand and supply of qualified decision scientists in India. Diverse applications. It's not just delivery. Airlines, Indigo, Air India, use OR to schedule flights and crews. Uber uses it for surge pricing. The field is growing at 21% globally and faster in India due to our logistics complexities. Conclusion. The strategic probability pivot. The IT wave of the 2000s was about digitization. The wave of the 2022 is about optimization and risk.